when I am solving using square roots, what I'm saying is, okay, every time I'm solving, I'm asking what could be the value of x here. Now, what I do is I get x by itself. Well, x squared, right? Right now x is being squared. So in order to get x by itself, what I do is I use the inverse operation. The inverse operation of squared is square root. So I'm going to square root both sides. Now, when I square root, what I'm asking myself is, what number multiplies by itself to get 64? And the answer is that it could be positive 8, but it could also be negative 8. So we use this symbol, plus or minus 8. So the square root of 64 could be positive or negative 8. And this is where we actually break it into two pieces, right? X could be negative 8, or x could be positive 8. Okay. Now here, the same thing is true, which is if I want to get rid of this squared, I need to square root to get rid of it. Now if I square root on one side, I have to square root on the other side. So this square root and this squared, they cancel, so I'm left with 2x minus 7, right? No squared because I canceled the square root, and the square root of 49 is 7, and of course it's plus or minus 7. And it's when you see this symbol, that's when we break into two pieces. We can say, oh, 2x minus 7 could equal negative 7, or 2x minus 7 could equal positive 7. And I'm going to solve both equations in the same way, which is I'm going to add 7 to both sides and then divide by 2. That's how I'm going to get x by itself. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0. 0 divided by 2 is 0. So that's one possibility. Here, when I add 7, because it's positive 7 plus 7, it's 14. And when I divide by 2, not 4, I get x equals 7. So my possibilities are x equals 0 and x equals 7. In this last problem, there's something a little bit different, which is that this piece that's being squared is not by itself. So we can't just square root both sides because I'm not ready to square root this yet because it's got a bunch of other stuff attached to it. So what I'm going to do first is get this by itself. And the way I'm going to do that is the same way that I would get just a regular old x by itself, right? So like here, I would add 13 to both sides. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to add 13 to both sides. When I bring this down, this is, right, I'm bringing everything down except the 13. 59 plus 13 is 72. I'm going to divide by 2. Okay, and now it's just like the problem you did above where I'm like, oh, okay, well, this whole thing is squared, so I'm going to go ahead and square root it. The squared and square root, they cancel out over here. The square root of 36 is plus or minus 6. And as soon as we see that plus or minus sign, that's when I say, oh, this is actually going to be two equations, right? Because this could be a negative 6 or it could be a positive 6, and those are two completely different solutions. And there's my answer.